Have you ever walked into a forest and felt like you weren't alone? Like the trees themselves were holding secrets, and the very air was humming with life. That's what it feels like to step through the tall, wooden gates of the Forever Wild Exotic Animal Sanctuary. It's not a zoo with concrete and cages. It's a sprawling, beautiful haven. There are acres of rolling hills, lush emerald forests, and crystal-clear streams that meander through the grounds. It's a place where the wild has been given a permanent home, a safe harbor for souls that have faced the deepest sorrows. Story begins not with a human, but with a magnificent creature who embodies the spirit of Forever Wild. His name is Raja, a Bengal tiger whose fur is the color of a sunset blaze, marked with stripes as black as a starless night. But Raja isn't just any tiger. He's the elder, the heart of the sanctuary. His home is a sprawling, forested enclosure with its own babbling brook and a tall rock ledge he calls his throne. From here, he watches over all the other animals, his amber eyes missing nothing. Long ago, before he came to Forever Wild, Raja was born into a life of misery. He was taken from his mother as a cub to be sold as an exotic pet. For years, he lived in a tiny, cold shed, the world outside a distant memory. His stripes grew dull. His powerful paws ached for soft earth, and the mighty roar he was born with became a silent, pained sigh. It was only when the kind-hearted founder of Forever Wild, a woman named Alex, found him that his life changed forever. She promised him the world, and she kept that promise. Here, he learned what it meant to feel the sun on his back and the soft give of the soil beneath his feet. He learned what it meant to be a tiger again. But Raja's role was more than just living. He carried the wisdom of the wild within him, and he used it to guide the new arrivals. Tigers, you see, are magnificent, solitary hunters in the wild. They need vast territories to roam, and their stripes are a perfect camouflage, allowing them to disappear into the tall grass and shadows. They are known as apex predators, and their health is a perfect indicator of the health of their entire ecosystem. But here, Raja had become something different, a teacher. He'd learned to communicate with the other animals, not with roars of dominance, but with a deep, rumbling purr that resonated with reassurance. One misty morning, a new arrival was brought to the sanctuary. The air was thick with tension and fear. A beautiful, sleek black leopard, her coat like a swath of midnight silk, was carefully guided into a new enclosure next to Raja's. She was small and slight, and her eyes held the terror of a creature who had seen too much. Her name was Kira. Unlike most leopards, she had a rare genetic mutation that made her fur completely black. In the wild, this trait, called melanism, is a stunning adaptation that can help them hunt in dense forests at night. But Kira had been captured for her unique beauty and had spent her life in chains. She was petrified of everything and everyone, and she spent her first few days hiding high in a thick oak tree. Leopards are incredible climbers. They can haul prey heavier than themselves high into the branches to keep it safe from other predators. In the wild, they are silent, ghost-like stalkers, powerful and graceful. But Kira's grace was gone. She was just a small, trembling shadow. Raja watched her from his rock throne. He knew her pain. He saw her fear. And he knew that the most important part of healing was feeling safe enough to be yourself. He didn't roar. He didn't try to go to her. Instead, he simply laid down, his enormous body, a picture of peace, and began to purr. It was a low, powerful sound, like a contented engine, a bass note of the jungle. It vibrated through the air, through the ground, and finally into Kira's weary heart. For the first time in a very long time, she felt a flicker of calm. Meanwhile, on the other side of the sanctuary, chaos was afoot. This chaos came in the form of a small, hyper-intelligent capuchin monkey named Pip. Pip was a whirlwind of energy, with a face like a curious old man and eyes that missed nothing. He had arrived with his troop after being rescued from a laboratory. Capuchins are one of the smartest primates in the world. They use tools to get food, and their social groups are tight-knit. Pip, however, was a bit of a maverick. He was a master escape artist and a notorious prankster. One day, Pip decided the sanctuary was a little too quiet. He noticed a maintenance worker's lunchbox on a bench near the perimeter fence. The man had just stepped away to fix a gate. To Pip, this was an irresistible challenge. With his long, prehensile tail and agile fingers, he swung from branch to branch, chattering excitedly to himself. He was about to snatch the lunchbox when he noticed something he'd never seen before. A small, frightened little badger had somehow squeezed under the fence and was trembling by the edge of a shallow ditch, unable to climb back out. Pip's mischievous chattering stopped. He was so busy with his pranks that he almost didn't see the real problem. He chattered to the badger, but it was too scared to move. Thinking quickly, Pip scurried down a tree and, with a few swift motions, grabbed a sturdy fallen branch. Using his incredible strength and intelligence, he maneuvered it into the ditch, creating a perfect little ramp. The badger, after a moment of hesitation, slowly and carefully scrambled up the branch and scurried back into the safety of the trees. Pip watched it go, a strange, warm feeling blooming in his chest. He looked at the lunchbox and, for the first time, wasn't interested. He had helped someone. It felt better than any snack. Later that afternoon, a slow, gentle rumble shook the ground. It was Barnaby, the black bear. Barnaby was enormous, a shaggy mountain of kindness with a perpetually sleepy expression. He had been a roadside attraction, forced to perform tricks for tourists. Black bears are often misunderstood. While they are large and powerful, they are typically shy and prefer to avoid humans. They are omnivores, meaning they eat both plants and animals, and their diet is mostly made up of berries, nuts, and insects. Barnaby's enclosure was a forested valley, full of berry bushes and a man-made cave where he loved to nap. Barnaby loved to forage. It was the one thing that made him feel like a real bear again. He was sniffing along the edge of the stream when he heard a high, panicked chittering. It was a family of raccoons who had gotten stuck on a small rock island in the middle of the suddenly fast-moving stream. A recent downpour had turned the gentle stream into a rushing torrent. The mother raccoon was frantic, and her 3 tiny kits were huddled together, crying. Barnaby's heart ached. He was big and clumsy in the water, but he had to do something. He waded into the stream, carefully placing his huge paws on the slippery rocks. The current tugged at him, but his massive weight kept him steady. He slowly and carefully made his way to the rock island. The raccoon mother, seeing his size, initially hissed and bared her teeth, thinking he was a threat. But Barnaby didn't react with aggression. He just stood there, his big, gentle eyes looking at her with concern. He lowered his head and nudged a sturdy log that had been caught between 2 rocks, pushing it closer to the island until it formed a bridge. It was an act of pure, silent compassion. The mother raccoon, seeing the kindness in his eyes and the bridge to safety, chittered a thank you and quickly guided her kits across the log, to the other side of the stream and into the safety of the bushes. Barnaby watched them go, then slowly waded back to his side of the stream, his heart feeling a little lighter. He was more than a performing bear. He was a protector, a gentle giant. As the seasons turned, the sanctuary animals formed a unique and unbreakable bond. Raja the tiger's purr was the heartbeat of the community. Kira, the once terrified leopard, had finally come down from her tree. She would sit near the edge of her enclosure, watching Raja, her fear slowly melting into respect. She started to explore, finding her hidden strength, and would even curl up near the fence a few inches away from where Raja would rest. Pip the capuchin became the sanctuary's lookout, always chattering a warning if he saw anything unusual. Barnaby the bear would share his best foraging spots with the smaller animals, a silent understanding passing between them. The humans, led by Alex, were the quiet, constant force behind it all. They understood that the animals' healing wasn't just about food and shelter. It was about respect. They saw each animal as an individual with a past and a future. They built the enclosures to mimic their natural habitats, not to contain them, but to allow them to be wild. The staff studied each animal's behavior, learning their unique personalities. And the sanctuary became a living library of animal wisdom. They educated visitors, explaining that these animals were not pets or toys, and that their stories were a powerful plea for us to protect their wild cousins still out in the world. They showed how poaching, habitat destruction, and the illegal pet trade were devastating countless species. And that true love for animals meant letting them be wild and free. But the most important lesson came during the Great Storm. It was a fierce, violent wind that tore through the state. The sky turned a sickly green, and the air crackled with unease. The humans worked tirelessly to secure everything, but the animals could feel the change in the air. The fear that Kira once felt returned, and she began to pace nervously. Pip's chattering was high-pitched and anxious. Barnaby kept to his cave, but his huge frame was tense. It was Raja who acted first. Kai climbed his rock throne and let out a roar, not one of anger, but of pure, unadulterated strength. It was a sound that seemed to shake the very foundations of the earth. A sound that carried the power of every tiger that had ever roamed the jungles of Asia. It was a roar of reassurance. It said, "We are here. We are safe. We are together." The other animals responded. Kira stopped pacing and lay down, her gaze locked on the great tiger. Barnaby emerged from his cave, standing sentinel at the entrance. The Capuchin troop huddled together in their tree, but Pip kept a brave eye on the sky. They trusted Raja. They trusted the sanctuary. They were a community. The storm raged for hours, but the sanctuary held. Alex and her team worked through the night, but they knew the animals were taking care of each other. The bond they had formed was stronger than any fence, any cage. It was forged in empathy and shared experience. When the sun finally broke through the clouds the next morning, a soft, golden light illuminated a scene of calm. The animals were safe. The sanctuary was still standing. The story of Forever Wild is a testament to the power of kindness and second chances. It's a place that teaches us that a sanctuary is more than just a place. It's a promise. It's a promise to protect, to heal, and to honor the magnificent wildness of every living creature. These animals, once broken by human cruelty, found not just safety, but a home. They found a community where they were understood, respected, and loved for exactly who they were. The lessons they learn, Draja's compassion, Kira's courage, Pip's selfless bravery, and Barnaby's gentle strength are lessons for all of us. They teach us that we are all connected and that true coexistence means understanding, not dominating. We have the power to protect the world, to be the keepers of its wild heart. Forever Wild isn't just a sanctuary. It's a living, breathing symbol of hope. It's a reminder that even when the world is dark and stormy, the light of kindness and respect will always, always shine through. It's a reminder that the wild is forever and it deserves to be protected.